I'm Bonnie Kemke, and this is Quilting on a Thread. Today I want to talk about a new product that I'm using, the AccuQuilt Go, and I want to talk about how I'm going to make this system work best for me. This may not be what you need to do, but it's what I'm going to need to do to make the product more useful. There are a lot of resources out there, especially on the AccuQuilt.com site. And one of the resources I'm finding most useful is the cutting equivalence chart, which you can download. But the cutting equivalence chart is missing some key points that I need. The equivalence chart is organized by the category of die, whether it's a circle, whether it's stems, feathers, anything you can imagine. If there's an AccuQuilt die for it, there's probably an entry in here about it. My problem is with those triangles that belong to other elements. For instance, the triangles that belong on the flying geese. This die, the information on this die tells me what the size of the cut and what the size of the finished pieces are in terms only of a flying geese block. But what it doesn't tell me is what are the cut dimensions of this triangle by itself if it were not in a flying geese block. Now, I know that that's a bit much to ask for. So because I don't find it in the equivalence chart or anywhere else, I'm going to go ahead and calculate this information for myself. You'd think it's straightforward, but sometimes it is not. One of the things to consider where it is not straightforward is in the cubes. What I love about these cubes is that it tells you the individual pieces that are in each folder, but there are 3 triangle sets that the cube tells you what the finished size of the block is, but not what the cut size of the triangles are, and not what the finished size of the triangles are. And I don't find that also in the equivalence chart. It refers back to the completed size of the square that those triangles would make in a half square triangle or quarter square triangle, etc. I want to know what are the dimensions of this triangle? What are the dimensions of this triangle? So what I'll do is I'll take the die I'm interested in, and I'll take a piece of that colored paper. You want to lay that on there to cover all of the elements. Go ahead and use your cutting mat and run it through your AccuQuilt. You'll, of course, come away with this, and you'll have your die pieces cut out. So now you can take these die pieces, affix them to your white paper with a bit of glue, and then you'll have this. And from here, you can take a pencil and a ruler and extend those lines out. I'm guessing that I'm going to do this a couple of times and find out that there's a fixed number. For instance, I know on this corner where the nib is just cut off that that's going to be 1/4 of an inch each way. But I'm not sure about these. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 1/2 of an inch will extend that line 1/2 of an inch. Perhaps you can see it, but what I've done is I've extended the lines out and I've measured how much that nib is that was cut out, because I'm hoping that after doing this several times, I'm going to find that that's a constant number. I also have gone in and marked the 1/4 inch line inside. So what I have done then with those lines marked, I've gone ahead and measured each of the lines. And I'm going to be able to label on the back of my flying geese die, I'm going to be able to put a label on there that denotes the cut and finished sizes of the triangles on this die, so that I would be able to grab this die out and say, yeah, that's going to give me the triangle that I need. On the cubes, what I will do is write that on a sticker and put it on the sides of these triangles. I'm also going to take the information from within the cube package and put the size of the cut and finished sizes of the other shapes, so that my box is going to have the index of the sizes of elements within the cube. And that's going to help me when I'm working with something, because I can just turn around to my cube set and say, I have that. I can use my AccuQuilt to cut those pieces, and the rest of it I can cut with my rotary cutter. In going through this task, I'm going to have my cubes set up to be useful to me on an ongoing basis without a lot of references to charts that may or may not have the information I'm looking for. But that information is going to be available to me simply by turning around and looking. That's going to make my AccuQuilt system much more useful to me. So there you have it, a curious look into the processes that I follow in order to make a new system work for me in a way that makes sense to me. So I hope this helps you on your journey, or at least amuses you for the morning. And join me again here on Quilting on a Thread. Bye-bye now.